We got good news. We've been talking about this on the pod a few weeks back, I think. The PvP problem and why PvP balance is gonna be impossible. It seems like it finally sunk in with the dev team that like the values are like way out of whack. Okay, look at this news right here. Damage reduction test for PvP in Season of Discovery. Global reduction aura. Sounds very familiar, doesn't it? So Agrend, I think, is the one that said this. I got a fly haunting me right now. They want my banana bread. Hello classic PvPers, this coming weekend we will test adjustments to player versus player in combat in Season of Discovery. We will implement a global damage reduction aura on PvP and pets too or something. When we started the Season of Discovery, we knew that PvP would be more fast-paced and bursty, with each class being capable of significantly doing more damage, and this quickly proved to be true, no shocker there. We experimented with a damage reduction aura in Battlegrounds in Phase 1, but it didn't work as well as we hoped, mostly because healing was scaling more aggressively than damage. I remember that at Phase 1 it was impossible to kill, like, people were running like 5 healers in a Warzone Gold Primate, it was really stupid. But it didn't work as well as we hoped, mostly because healing was scaling more than damage, causing healing classes to become more oppressive in Battlegrounds than they would be. Now we're in Phase 3, we made many changes and added more runes, and burst damage has significantly outpaced healing output, so we feel it's a good time to try this again. Damage, scaling, and its impact on PvP has always been a concern in World of Warcraft. Ever since original WoW, various systems were introduced to combat this, but ultimately it always comes down to the fact that player damage outscales health at a base level, and an adjustment is needed for combat between players to continue to feel as satisfying as player power increases. We have been hesitant to introduce this as a permanent feature. Oh, so this is a test again, huh? And we preferred to give it a trial run this weekend to give it an idea of how it feels before we could take further steps. This will affect all areas of the game world, not just Battlegrounds. Okay, so yeah, it is live right now actually. I didn't even check it. Like, do I get it on my character right now? Like that debuff thingy? No, there's no such thing.
So I didn't realize it was in. I did an STV event for the first time like the day before that came in, and then I did it like
in
a
STV,
day
you're not
after
gonna
and
know
on
this.
a different class. No, I think they did it everywhere, global, right? They
no, I know, but like you could have 10,000 times the HP and you would still get one shot. STV is cancer.
Oh, it's a little different now, dude. Yeah, I'll go there, you'll see.
Oh, I hope they fixed it.
Bursty.
Like, I tried it once and I was like, yeah, I am done. I am never getting my stuff. That was so dumb.
Yeah, like, I tried it before on a druid as feral, and then I respect to boomkin, and then went after. And I didn't realize they'd put the change in. And I was like, man, I can't do any damage. But, it might be a good change. I'm not sure. I don't think it's terrible, though. I don't think it's like the end of the world, like people are saying on Reddit.
I don't think it's terrible. Like, the idea, like, we recognized a long time ago that, like, if you're gonna give people, like, 20 trillion more damage, you gotta give them some defensives or they are gonna get one-clapped. And, like, what's the meta right now going? Like, Shaman with Way of Earth, Rogue with that tanking thing, Meta Warlock, because that's the only people that can survive the damage right now. And these flies driving me insane. Got it. So...
Got him.
Got him. That fly should have needed the damage reduction aura, it doesn't have it. Like, my problem with it is that it is a flat aura, right? And like, I think this is not fair because different classes need different reduction. Okay, is it fair that a Metamorphosis Warlock is gonna take 20% less damage now, while like a Clotty Priest is gonna get one clapped anyway? Like, that's why I wanted resilience in the game. It doesn't have to be resilience, you can call it something different if you are afraid of people, I don't even know. But like, you gotta make gear sets and like balance it around. You cannot give everybody the same reduction and expect it to be balanced.
Yeah, I wonder how people feel about it in a little bit. I did hear a kind of reasonable criticism was that since people die slower now, you get less honor and blood coins per hour, like kind of regardless of who you are. Since it just drags out the PvP encounters. So like that's kind of weird. It's a weird consideration. I would have not thought of that before this change.
I mean, it's gonna be significant.
I don't think it's too bad. I don't know. I mean, like, I kind of doubt it, but I do get like where people be coming from that. If you're getting one shot before, you get more kills. And it's not a zero-sum game with getting the reward from PvP, so it could make sense to me that more deaths is, more rewards, but maybe it's not a huge difference. I don't know.
I mean, like, honestly, I think STV is, like, terribly designed. I think they cranked that thing out in an afternoon. Didn't even try to, like, imagine how it would go, let alone test it. But, yeah, I mean, like, that is a serious concern. If, like, it turns out that you kill people 20% slower, and that means you get honor or whatever 20% slower, they might have to retune that. I don't think the idea the start is a bad idea. I don't think it's a bad idea to change. I just think it's implemented poorly. That's kind of like the Blizzard's History 101 right there, I guess.
Yeah, they're really into ham-fisted changes and...
Overcorrect, yeah.
It's lame.
Everything they do has to be dramatical, It cannot be like, we're gonna put this new PvP set that gives you 10% damage reduction, and if it's too crazy, we can nerf it. No, everybody takes 20% less damage. I don't think that's gonna change the meta at all. I think people are still gonna be running Way of Earth, are still gonna be running Meta Warlocks, and everybody else is gonna get shafted.
Yeah, I heard some people saying that they think Melee's a lot better now, because you don't have to worry about getting one shot as much. I wonder if that will maintain being a thing.
I mean, if it's not significantly changed, I don't think it will be a thing. Like, yeah, Melee has usually in PvP like a higher DPS output. Like you can, if you got gear, you can one-shot somebody if you're an Earth Warrior. But like, is a 20% damage reduction gonna make the difference between you charging in and killing them or not? Like, I think you get stunned or rooted once and you still die. I don't think 20% is gonna change that. It might make healing a little bit stronger. That's something that he said in there, and I do believe that. Like, healers might become the meta again.
It felt very hard to kill healers as a boomkin, but I had no gear when I tried it as boomkin, so it's hard to say if that was reflective of really anything.
Well, like, I mean, I think we can agree that the healer runes are all across the board way less powerful than DPS runes. So, like, this makes some sense. But, like, all things equal, this is gonna be a huge buff to healer classes in general. Like, can you imagine killing a druid that's spamming Life Bloom now? It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, I healed one dungeon as Resto, and I could definitely see it being very hard for somebody with, like, instant cast heals that do, like, hundreds. Like, mid-hundreds. Like, yeah, it'd be hard to kill somebody.
Life Bloom is even worse,
like,
because in PvP, if you purge it, it pops. It doesn't go away. You just get an instant heal, so they are impossible to counter. Like, it has zero counterplay. Aside from, like, Mortal Strike, I guess. Like, if you purge it, he gets a full heal. If you don't purge it, he gets the dot and the full heal. Like, there's no beating them. That's why they were so freaking oppressive in TBC arenas, too. Like, if you look at all the TBC arenas when Life Bloom came out, all the good comps were Druid or something. Druid, something. Like, there was not a single good comp that didn't have a Resto Druid. That's a core design issue with Life Bloom.
They're very popular, too. I don't know if they're really just the best, though. I think a lot of really high-rated teams had, like, a Disc Priest. But Druid's, like, a very low skill to play a Resto Druid fairly well.
Yeah, just
you don't have to
Life
do
Bloom.
all the fancy, like... Yeah, like, you don't have to be super good at using all the forms. If you're just pretty good at disengaging from people, that's like, and keeping your hots up, that'll get you pretty far.
Yeah.
In TBC PvP.
Especially because you're so resilient to interrupts. You got so many instant stuff, And that's the case too in SoD right now. Like, in PvP, an instant heal, even if it's not as good as a casted heal, is super strong because, like, you cannot kick it. So they really cannot be stopped. That's the problem with the Resto Druid, and this is gonna make it even worse. As long as you know how to turn into bird and pro Nature's Grasp and just run, like, you're not dying ever again. I can see that.